Dear beloved viewers, welcome back. Before we took a short break, we started our discussion on real estate business. And we classified the real estate business into two. One is properties for resale and other properties for renting. And others could be holding a mixture of these. Some has some properties for sale and it has some other properties for rental. Let's start with properties for sale. Now this entails properties that an individual owns that he intends to sell them. It could be house, could be land, could be a farm that you own it through varieties of means. Maybe you bought it, maybe you inherited it. Whichever the means that are halal, this is now your property. You want to sell it. Your intention is to sell it. So this is condition number one that has already been fulfilled. The intention of the owner is to sell it. For it again to be zakatability, we need also to look at the value. Nisab, has it reached the value of nisab? And the value of nisab is the standard, the gold standard, which is 85 grams, but it can also be the silver standard. But I'm much more using the example of gold standard. So 85 grams of gold, that is the value or more of that land or that house that you are selling. And the third condition is hawl. A year has passed. So this zakat on the properties for sale, their zakat is once per year. And of course, you deduct debts. Sometimes we own these properties that we are selling, but again, we have very huge debts. And this is particularly for real estate developers. Okay, and even for individuals. Some individuals acquire pieces of land for reselling, acquires properties for reselling, and they have been financed by either banks or sometimes financed by friends and so on. But the nature of that financing is a debt. It's not like equity financing, equity kind of engagement. It is something that is a debt on you. You are indebted. You have to pay back that amount that you have been given, and then you had invested it in a piece of land or a farm, or you built a house for purpose of reselling in order to make more money. So that is, if it has a debt, we'll talk about it. But basically, if it has a debt, still is zakatable, provided if you deduct the portion that is due for that particular year, the value of that particular asset is still above nisab. So in these properties for sale, if they meet these four conditions, the intention, the nisab, the hawl, and is free from a debt, or you deduct a debt that is due in the next 12 months, then you will have to pay zakat for it of 2.5, whether you have sold it or you haven't sold it in that particular year. So if you have sold it, you will pay zakat for it. If you haven't sold it, you will have to dig down your pockets and pay zakat for it. If you don't have it, you will have to put a record that there is a zakat due on that land for that year. And of course, you need to apply market value for that house or for that land or for that farm. Okay, every year you have to do a market valuation to determine its true value for you to pay a proper zakat. Now, in the real estate business, modern real estate business, we have properties that are built for resale, and the seller does not sell them until he finishes. So these are complete units. They are only sold upon completion. You can express your intention, you can fill the form that you are intending to buy it, but you don't they're not sold before they are complete. This is one way of which we see the real estate business operate. And there are other way, which is off plans, off floor plans. These are sold while they are under construction, or sometimes even before groundbreaking, as they say. So they show the 3Ds, how the house will look like, 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom, and all how it will look and the feel. And if you're interested, you buy it. And this is in Sharia, it's called bay'ul istisna'. You buy something in advance. You pay in advance and it will be delivered in future. So the first category of properties for resale for which you wait until they are completed, that is when you sell them. In this particular category, there are two different opinions, scholarly opinions. The first one says that it is zakatability is established every year at the level of which it has been completed. So in this view, it says, sometimes, and this is common, the construction takes 1 year, takes 2 years, sometimes takes 3 years to complete. And this is a standard cycle according to the engineers and so on. Okay. So this view says for properties that are built with the sale intention, with the purpose for selling them, and when you're building them, okay, so the first year, for example, you have put a foundation. It's not yet complete, but of course there is already a foundation. There is a value addition to that piece of land. So the first view says in that end of year you will establish how much, what is the market value, or what is the cost value and the market value of that particular property at that time, at that point, at that level that it has reached, and you pay zakat on it. This is the first view. So every stage of construction, after a year has passed, you look at how much is the value of it, what is the market value of it. If you are to sell it as is, how much money will you get? And you pay zakat based on it, based on that value. The other view says, no, it will have no zakat until it is completed. Until it is completed. While it is under construction, it has no zakat until it comes to completion. And once it is completed, then if it stays 1 year without being sold, you will pay zakat for it. If it stays 2 years before you have sold it, you will pay zakat again for it. If it goes to 3 years, you haven't sold it, you will pay another zakat for it. So as long as the intention is still for reselling, and as long as the value is above nisab, every year you will have to pay zakat for it. So these are two positions regarding this this category of properties for resale, and the sale happens only after completion. The other view is that of floor plans. These are sold while they are under construction. Again, the conditionalities are the same. That is, you have to have an intention to sell them. It should have reached a nisab. It should complete a haul. The zakat rate is 2.5. Okay, and you deduct any debt that is due for that particular period, for the 12-month period. So in this particular case of off-floor plans, the way you should calculate it is zakat is that you have to establish the value of each unit at the level, the value of the property at the level of its development. Okay. You deduct what has already been sold, which is not your property anymore. But if there is a cash, you will consider that cash in your calculation. So you take the cost of construction. Okay, so say you started to build it on January, and you have been, and this is maybe 100 apartments, 100-floor apartments. Okay, the story building with 100 apartments. You started January until end of December. You had broken the ground. You had put the foundation. Maybe first to second floor is already there. Okay, and it has a value. So that property has a value. Okay, at that point for which it has reached. Then you had sold it. You had sold already some of these apartments. Say out of 100 apartments, at that first year you had sold maybe 10 apartments. So there is cash that you have received, okay, which you will have to add. Okay, so out of 100 apartments, okay, you take the value. We simply consider the value of the property at the level for which it is value. So the value of from ground breaking to foundation to second floor, say it has costed you 100 million. Okay, but you had also received some cash for selling 10 apartments of this building, so you have 10 million. So the value of 100 million plus the 10 million, that means you have the value of this particular business is 110. Okay, but we needed to make sure the cash that you had received had stayed with you for a year. And then if you had financing, you had some friends who gave you loans for construction, or you had a debt, you had financing from an Islamic bank, we will have to deduct the 12-month installment for the coming year. And the net amount, what remains, is the one that will be subjected to zakat. Okay, is what will be subjected to zakat. So this is a nutshell of how you calculate zakat for properties on sale. Properties that the owner has prepared them, has developed them, and the intention is to sell at a profit for a willing buyer. So properties built for reselling, if they met these conditions we have articulated, they will be eligible for zakat. Dear beloved viewers, we have come to an end of this episode, and in the coming episode we shall discuss properties for renting and how is it eligible and how to calculate it is zakat. Until we meet again, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.